never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
I have two words for you: predator drones. You will never see it coming.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen will be talking about the murder of 5 Dallas law enforcement officers during a Black Lives Matter protest, how the liberal anti-Second Amendment agenda has crossed over into a psychotic obsession, and then David and Gretchen's take on Hillary Clinton and the email scandal. And be sure to watch segment 6 for the story of a pastor who says state law threatens his right to teach the Bible in his own church. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio, so be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600 or go to Facebook and like our page, On Target Radio, and ask a question there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, it's time for David's Rant of the Week.
Okay, so the game is a bunch of psychotics who blame white people in general and cops specifically for their miserable existence are going to randomly shoot people from nice, safe distances. In a war that you actually intend to win, the belligerent sets the rules of engagement. It's ridiculous to adhere to scripted rules of engagement based on some set of anachronistic values developed by a group of overweight, past their prime senior commanders in an air-conditioned conference room that have no skin in the game. In a war that you intend to win, there are no rules. All bets are off. Anything is fair game to decimate the enemy. You've taught us that, and we thank you for that lesson. And I'm going to scream if I hear this president say one more time, that's not what America is about, in response to hardworking patriotic citizens saying we probably shouldn't let the scum of the earth who are bent on killing Americans into our country in the first place. You know what, Mr. President? That is what we're about. We're about protecting our families, our country, and our way of life, none of which appears to be important to you. Now, I understand that the psycho in Dallas was born and raised American, who served in the U.S. Army, and it was never a question of keeping him out of the United States. So let me be clear about my thinking. I don't care if you're from some third world cesspool or you grew up the son of a multimillionaire neurosurgeon in Beverly Hills. What I care about are your values and how you treat John Q. Public. Contrary to what liberals have convinced you of, John Q. doesn't care if you're black, white, yellow, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, or atheist. Normal Americans pretty much all get along now. We work together, we socialize together, and we marry one another. Only in your distorted, self-important existence does that not happen. Where we live, you can walk down the block, cross the street, or drive anywhere you want, and you don't get shot, regardless of your color or religion. All that death and destruction exists in the world you've created for yourself with the help of liberals who want to be sure that you stay there, so you'll vote for them instead of conservatives who have the temerity to suggest that if you get some skills and a job, you can live safely in our world. You talk about white privilege. Here's my white privilege. I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I work until midnight every day, 7 days a week, which allows me the privilege of trying to be successful. I have 5 different business endeavors going on, and not one of them is making me rich. But you know what? It's nobody's fault but my own. I don't want the government to bail me out. I don't want special treatment. I just want to keep working at it until I get it right. That's white privilege, though I have many friends of color who share that white privilege with me. We're not holding you back. You're holding you back. You want to hold a peaceful protest? Be my guest. It's your right as an American. But let me share my thoughts on your protest. You're the result of the evils of liberalism. You've grown up living on handouts from the government, and you constantly want more. You don't want to actually lift a finger to earn more. You just want the government to give you more because there were once slaves in America. But the people are paying for it are fed up. We're fed up with white guilt over slavery that ended 150 years ago. I think you've had enough time to recover and get a job. Now, by the way, my parents came to America from Italy in the early 20th century. My people weren't even around when all that happened. I'm fed up with every crook who gets shot by the cops being some sort of angelic hero. Are there some bad cops? Sure, but there aren't that many. You're just looking for excuses to rip off another television set and raise hell, because raising hell is a lot more fun than getting up early in the morning and going to work. And those heroes of yours that have gotten themselves shot by the cops, haven't you noticed none of them turn out to be doctors, stockbrokers, teachers, plumbers, or even school bus drivers? They pretty much turn out to be bad actors with rap sheets. If a cop really does have a bad shoot, then the cop deserves to pay the price for it. But pick up that stack of police reports and take a real look at who you're calling innocent victims. You want to shoot cops from rooftops or blow up a Starbucks full of soccer moms with their kids in tow? Then I don't give a rat's butt where you're from or how you grew up. You don't deserve a trial. You don't deserve due process. You don't deserve another breath of American air. What you do deserve is being dropped like a box of rocks right where you stand. And guess what? This is America, the land of 300 million lawfully owned firearms. The next time you're lining up that shot at some unsuspecting cop, some paunchy married guy out buying a gallon of milk, or some girl next door diminutive real estate agent, or an old vet in a wheelchair is going to pop you from behind. No warning, no sense of American fair play, just put you down like the rabid dog that you are. It doesn't matter if you're from Syria or Chicago. You're a terrorist, and millions of Americans have been sharpening their swords knowing this day was inevitable. When I go out to dinner and catch a movie, when I'm buying groceries, pumping gas, or standing in line at an ATM, I'm armed, and I'm looking for you all the time. We may not know if you're in our midst, but then you won't know we're standing right behind you, watching. And that is my rant for the week.
We say all the time that nobody looks at us in the grocery store and goes, you know what, I bet she's got a gun.
We're invisible.
Yep.
And that's going to play well.
I think so.
You know, they've defined what the thing is. Okay, you want to shoot people from rooftops and stuff like that? Okay, now we know what the rules are. That's fine. All this nonsense about, oh, we don't do that, that's not American. You know what? I don't care. I don't care anymore. I really don't.
Well, and also, too, we've talked before about, Muslim bad guys. It doesn't really matter to us who the bad guys are.
That's exactly right. I don't care where they're from. Don't care how they grew up.
I'll shoot you just the same. But yeah, I told some of my cop friends that I have. I told them on Facebook, I got your 6.
And so do millions of other people.
Yes.
That look like me and you, and just they don't stand out.
Right.
You're listening on Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call. 312-642-5600. 312-642-5600. Am I over the top? Is that over the top?
Well, it's a little in your face, but, we've come to expect that from you.
They just killed 5 cops by sniping at them from rooftops.
Right.
That's in your face.
Right, and 7 others were injured, and two civilians were also injured.
I think the time has come to stop listening to people saying, well, it's not the American way, we have to be inclusive. And I think it's time to just start mowing them down.
Right.
And I don't mean arbitrarily. I'm not suggesting we're going to just start shooting crowds. But
no, of course not.
People need to begin to watch. It's no longer, I'm in the 7-Eleven, somebody comes in to rob it, and it's, I'm protecting myself. Now we're in a position where people are out there. We got 2 groups now. These guys, whoever they happen to be, and then ISIS guys.
The reverse racists.
Exactly.
Which is basically what happened in Dallas. And then the Muslims, yeah.
And who knows who else is going to materialize. And I think it's getting to be time that all of the people who are carrying guns around this country every single day need to begin to think not in terms of, I need to protect myself if somebody tries to hurt me, and start keeping their eyes open in gas stations, everywhere you go, looking for these clowns.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way we're going to win. Cops show, and this is not being negative, cops show up after something happens. That's how it works. That's how the system works. We, the people, are there when it happens. And we, the people, are the ones who have to do something about it. I wrote that, and the more I wrote it, the angrier I got.
So George said that he's not able to tell us on the thing, but Ed is on the phone.
Ed is on the phone. Is he on line 1? Put Ed on the phone. Edward, did you catch any fish today?
No, not yet. I was kayaking and all that.
So you're in a bad mood.
Not here to talk about northern Wisconsin. I'm talking about the 5 police officers that were gunned down in Dallas.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm a retired prosecutor, and I dealt with police and judges, defense attorneys, and all different groups of people. And I'll have to say, without a doubt, that the group that had the fewest bad apples as a percent were the police. They are just head and shoulders in the criminal justice system, doing the right thing and having the right ethics. And there's a lot more percent bad apples that are judges, defense attorneys, criminals, probation departments, elected officials, and the other people in government.
Ed, we got to take a break. Hang on. We'll get to you when we come back after the break, okay? Just hold on. We're going to be back with more On Target Radio, and you're listening to AM560, The Answer. All right.
So we've got some good comments on Facebook too. If you want those, yeah.
Like, what do we got? Lombardo's an answer.
It's our private messengers. One guy says, with all the crap going on lately, my attitude has kicked into game on. And the other guy says, not over the top, it's simply an acknowledgement of where we are now. It's on target.
Oh, you got to read those. Those are good.
Okay, I'll read those.
I'll get you water.
We come back.
I'll send you an inflammatory message if you want to read that.
Gretchen, do you need one?
I can send
Yes, please.
I can send you an inflammatory message if you want to read that. Yeah, yesterday I was fielding hundreds of Joe Walsh calls. His show was out in syndication.
Oh, that's nice.
Not pleasant.
I got to do shrinks when I come.
Yeah, I owe Joe Walsh a punch in the face.
I do shrinks. Well, he was holding the door open for me, so it's okay.
Did you hear what he said Friday?
I read it.
Yeah, there's war.
I read it. Yeah.
He said, watch out, Obama.
I know. Well, he took it back.
I understand. But the people who were calling yesterday didn't get that far into the show before they dialed that number.
Yeah, no, I bet.
It was not.
It was inflammatory.
Yeah. Well, I'd say that's a pretty kind.
But that's Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh is not middle of the road.
That's Joe Walsh's stock and trade.
It is. That's
but
exactly
here's
what
the
he
thing:
does.
these people were listening to this in Dallas and Denver and Atlanta and wherever else, Portland, and all these other places where it plays at various times on Saturday. Well, I'm here all day yesterday, so they don't say anything about like, this is a pre-recorded show, do not call this number. He gives out the number like every 20 seconds.
Well, you know.
Somebody accidentally left the
That's funny, I didn't know he actually took callers on his show.
That's why all this crap is here.
I didn't know that.
So we'll come back with Ed.
And you're doing shrinks.
I'm doing shrinks. We got a new
He
shrinks.
doesn't put many on the air.
Oh, okay.
Maybe once every couple of weeks.
So I think
Joe Walsh takes callers
Yeah.
and he'll have Peters or somebody write out stuff and then or type out stuff and then like he'll make comments that he doesn't take calls on the air. Very often.
Really?
I didn't think so. So I think
People talk too slow for him.
I think you should do
Genuinely
shrinks.
what it is.
Yeah, I think you should do shrinks. You should let me read these comments and then we'll take it again.
That's fine.
Because if we take it, we'll never get to
So
this.
Dave, if you tell a caller to hang on, I'm immediately dropping them. That's sort of my standard. So if you say, now hang on for a bit of that.
Oh,
and
you
don't
shut
say,
him down.
Yeah,
You got a
don't
call coming
don't
in.
say like, okay.
Yeah,
'cause
that's
then
fine.
He's not going to be there.
That's good. Okay, I do shrinks, you do the things, we go to Ed.
Yeah.
Ed, I'm going to do a commercial, she's going to read something, we'll go to you. And if you're not listening, you have no idea that I'm saying that. But that's what he's doing, he's watching us on the internet.
Probably.
Well, what else has he got? He's a BFF.
Experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
If you've been putting off purchasing your first firearm or maybe adding to your collection, here's a great new offer from Shrinks Smoke and Gun. In July only, purchasing any store-owned firearm and receive 2 free boxes of range ammo. Such a deal. And the selection is great because Schrank's carries the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms in Lake County, including pistols, rifles, shotguns, hard-to-find calibers, collectibles, and older functioning hunting rifles. Plus, Schrank's has full gunsmith services, so plan ahead for hunting season. And if you love cigars, check out Schrank's Humidors. Don't miss this July deal of 2 free boxes of range ammo when you purchase any store-owned firearm. Visit smoke.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank Smoke and Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964. That's 847-662-4032 or online at smoke.org.
Okay, so we have a couple of comments on Facebook. Raymond says, not over the top. It's simply an acknowledgement of where we are at now. It's on target, Dave. And
He's my man.
Yes. And then Larry says, with all the crap going on lately, my attitude has kicked into game on.
I love it. I'm telling you, millions of people have been sharpening their swords, knowing this is coming, especially since this president came in. Ed knows that, don't you, Ed? Or not. Maybe Ed doesn't. He's probably going fishing now.
Have increased under Obama with his rhetoric, you know.
It has. I mean, here's Obama, Ed, and this is typical Obama. One sentence, he's going, we feel so bad, there's no excuse for this whatsoever, we have to have more gun control. I mean, everything is more gun control, more gun control. I don't know if the Republicans will hold up. What do you think? You're political.
Well, there's like over 60% of the population has been polled to say that gun control is not the answer. All the Obama's gun control proposals wouldn't have stopped any of these shootings. You know, it was the FBI that took that one guy off the watch list and he went into the Baltimore or the Orlando bar and shot the place up and killed all those people.
Right.
And he was cleared by the FBI, you know.
Yeah, his guns were purchased legally at a store.
Yeah.
If you listen to the
rhetoric, is like a law up here. You could carry a gun in a tavern as long as you're not drinking, and then you got to carry a concealed permit.
If you listen to the rhetoric, you got in the same sentence Obama saying, "I feel bad about this. We need more gun control." Loretta Lynch, "We need more gun control." Then you get to the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who says, "We need a conference." Is that not what he does? That man has never seen a camera that he wasn't in love with.
Well, you can't get around these statistics that the crimes are happening in the black community and to a lesser extent in the murders in the Hispanic community. And yet they have a low incident of gun ownership of something like 20-some%, where in the suburbs, which are mostly white, the gun incident ownership is over 50%. It's not the number of guns that are the problem, it's culture.
No, I mean, you're exactly right.
Face the fact.
You're exactly right. Listening on Target Radio, this is AM560 The Answer. We're talking right now with Ed Ronkowski, who's luxuriating in his cabin in the North Woods. But you're absolutely right about that, Ed. And, you know, Ben Carson, an interesting article, Ben Carson said about Obama saying we need more gun control, he goes, now is definitely not the time to get political. Now is the time to use logic and ask ourselves, why do we have a Constitution? Why do we have a Second Amendment? They're always saying we don't need high-powered weapons to hunt deer. The Constitution is not about deer hunting. It's about people being able to defend themselves from an overly aggressive government or an external invasion. Could either of those possibly happen? And then he says, if he were president, this is Carson, and dealing with the aftermath of the Dallas shooting, he'd be telling them, imagine 24 or 48 hours with no police. What would your life be like then? Just imagine no cops at all for a couple of days. That would be hard to deal with.
Yeah, some of the Ferguson effects happening in Chicago, and you get your murder rate is skyrocketing to near times highs. And you're getting like shootings every 2 hours somebody is shot in Chicago.
It really is becoming totally out of control. And you know what? It's pretty much contained to certain areas of Chicago, but it's it's expanding. It's moving out. There's a candidate in Colorado who's a Senate hopeful. His name is Darrell Glenn, who made an interesting observation, and he said, and again, he's talking about Obama, if he's not careful, he's going to exacerbate the issue by driving a wedge between law enforcement and the people they're supposed to protect. What motivation does a cop have to go into one of those neighborhoods to protect the people who live there if he's going to get sniped at from a rooftop?
Yeah. And that's all. Obama is trying to take advantage of his mistakes in policies that lead to this excess violence, and he's playing politics out of a problem that could be solved by looking at it logically and where the problem really lies. You know, you got too many fatherless kids packed in the ghetto, being raised by surrogate fathers that are gangbangers, and they end up doing this stuff.
I don't know that there's really a way to solve this, not in the short term. You know, Paul McKinley. Paul McKinley, who, for people who don't know, he's been on the show before. Paul McKinley was a hardcore gangbanger, did hard time, and came out of prison a Republican, which I think is really hysterical. But he still lives in the old neighborhood, and he's made the observation. Now, this is a black man who was a gangbanger, who still lives in that area. He made the observation, if you want this problem to be resolved, number one, it's going to take many years to do it, and number two, you're going to have to lock a whole bunch of people up forever and never let them back out again.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Ed, that politically, and particularly in the city of Chicago, they have the stomach to do that.
Well, it worked with Paul. He was sentenced to, originally sentenced to 30 years for participating in an armed robbery where the victim was shot.
Right.
And, yeah.
And
then
that's
the
amazing
appellate court remanded it for resentencing, and he only did like 12 years on the sentence.
Which is still a lot of time.
I was going to say there are rapists that don't get that much.
That's true. The interesting thing about Paul is, I don't know him real well, but, you know, we bump into him, and he's been on the show. He's actually a very nice guy. He's a very friendly, he's a very friendly, very nice guy.
He's very charismatic.
Yeah, he is. It's hard to picture him having been a hardcore gangbanger, but, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, the comment I made in my rant really, I think, is the heart of the matter. These people are saying we're keeping them down. That's a crock of you-know-what. I can't say that, can I, George? I can say it?
You can say crap.
Oh, no, I can't. Okay, well, no, he just said you can't.
I say crap all the time.
He's waving his finger at you.
Hey, Dave,
we're not going to
prior to welfare, black people were employed at a higher rate than white people.
Where's this?
In the United States.
Oh, in general?
Prior to having welfare programs.
I'm not surprised.
The out-of-wedlock percent was like under a quarter of the black families were having children out of wedlock. And now it's well over 50%. It's, approaching 3/4?
Wow.
Yes.
That's what's destroying it. It's culture.
Well, and you're absolutely right. It is cultural. And, you know, going back to this thing about you're keeping us down, that's nonsense. It's simply not the case. We have numerous friends of color, lots of different colors, blacks, browns, all kinds of people.
Yes.
And they're just friends. They're people, you know, you don't think about them in that way.
No, not at all.
No conservative that I know would intentionally hold somebody back because of their color. I don't know anybody that would do that.
Yeah.
All we're saying is, look, if you fit in with us, come on and join us. We're happy to do that. But if you're going to come in here and shoot us, no, we'd rather you stay in your own neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't know how to solve that. I truly don't. But as always, Ed, I appreciate you calling in. I need to come up there. I really do. I need to get away from here.
Well, I just sent you guys on your Facebook page the sunset we watched out tonight.
I saw that. It's lovely.
That's really nice, Ed. Just go ahead and taunt me a little more. Why don't you send me?
I got my state representative with me too.
Oh, is she up? Margot up there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We saw her at the parade. Tell her hi.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right. Thanks a bunch, Ed. It's always pleasant talking to you, and have a good time.
Okay. Good night, Dave and Gretchen.
Good night. Hey, good. It's always enjoyable to have Ed on. Ed is like my counterbalance, you know. Anytime I say something, he looks it up right away, and then we get the phone call.
Sure.
All right. Well, anyway, we're going to be back with more stuff. When we come back, we're going to talk about liberalism's psychotic obsession with gun control. So all that and more, and we got some phone calls already on the line. We'll cover all of that with more on Target Radio when we return. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
It finally feels like summer.
I got Bill Johnson here, and Dave Clark still coming up. We can hit it. Well, why don't you, you're going to do the joiner, right?
Yep.
And then why don't you just go ahead and do David Clark, because I think he's worth doing.
Okay.
We'll do that quick,
Use the ladies.
and then we'll go to the calls.
Yeah.
He's typing another call.
I'm sorry?
No, he's putting in another call right now. He's putting the details.
Oh, okay.
He's typing in.
So we got Jeff from Berwyn, disputes Ed's math, okay. And I don't know who's on
He's
3.
typing it still.
Okay. We're in business tonight.
It's a good rant.
We're in business, bro. Business.
Definitely.
How many we got watching?
18.
That's pretty good.
We were at
Got
20
it, yeah.
earlier.
Nah.
One might have been me, but we're 18 now. I already signed mine off.
What do we got?
It's
Oh, now they're killing homeless. Perfect.
oh great.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the North States Steel Traffic Center.
There's a check of the roads. The Kennedy inbound jams Lawrence to Keeler with a
Yeah, my editor computer's flipping me a giant electronic bird.
What?
I said my editor computer's flipping me a giant electronic bird, so I have to walk over into the corner to type stuff in.
George, South Loop. Media dishonestly fans of Flames on it. Haven't we talked to George before?
A number of times.
Yeah, I thought so.
He's usually rather pithy, actually.
Okay. Jeff from Berwyn.
Unlike the lady who called 6 times to tell me about how great Joe Walsh is, and that I don't understand.
Not Millie.
No. This was a lady listening to Joe Walsh's show in another market right now, who called just like all day yesterday and all day this afternoon. There's people call up, and this lady's obviously inebriated, calls up. Hi, is this Joe Walsh?
Yes.
Oh, if I say that, my ass is grass.
Yes, it is.
Then anything I say.
Would you like an honorary membership in
Who do you
NAMWOLF?
think is more capable, if just left open, unfiltered? Who do you think is more capable of destroying their life and future? Me or Joe Walsh?
Probably you could do it. I think you could.
I think I could probably outshock him.
Yeah.
But anyway, all I'd have to do is just be myself. That's the downside.
That's it.
I just have to take the cuffs
Nobody
off.
can handle George. Yes, George.
2 people can. 2 people in the world. Even after like 3 or 4 hours, you'd be like, my ears are burning, my eyes are
One's an
burning.
adult and one is down here.
Dude, I don't know what this lady's name was, but she called the first time. She's like, is this Joe Walsh? I said, no, this is not Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh is on the afternoon. She goes, well, this is the number it had on the internet. I said, okay. This is the call-in number for the radio station, but this is a different show. Like I said, he's on weekday afternoons. Well, some of us like what he says. Click. Click. Okay.
Bye.
Great. And every time she hangs up, it says your call has ended. So I don't know if she's on a prison phone or what, but
Funny.
yeah. Dude, the last time I heard anything like that was when somebody used a payphone. I know for a fact there are only 3 payphones left in existence. So statistical odds of her being at one of those 3 payphones is virtually nothing. So I'll bet she's in prison.
She's in prison.
Yeah, I'm thinking prison personally.
So, Dave, I didn't get a chance to tell you at dinner. I'm kind of excited. Tomorrow, I get to go to a press conference that Governor Rauner's having for a building project in Will County. They invited all
You
of
get a
us.
cup of
Oh, that's cool.
So hopefully,
He was
I've
actually in
already
our
talked to him
parade.
before.
Tell Bruce I said hi. One of
No,
you
I
remembers
said
me from our 2-minute conversation.
She grabbed some boob.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'm hoping I'll be on the 6 o'clock news. I'll be like standing behind him, going,
There you go.
Giving the wink.
Do
the
one
wink and the nod.
you
of
gotta
these.
do
Do the horn.
1 minute, by
no,
the way.
yeah.
You gotta do
I would
the.
have to jump to do that.
That's true. He's a tall guy.
He's like 6'7".
No, what it is be me and Gretchen, and I'm holding Gretchen, and Gretchen's got the bunny ears.
Exactly. Then I could get the bunny ears up there.
Actually,
yeah.
he's
I get a
tall.
little
I
step-
saw
I get a
him
little
at the,
step.
He's super
parade.
tall.
He was tall.
Yeah,
He
he's
walked
super
by
tall.
us.
Yeah.
You little step still.
He
Yeah.
had his security with
The
their
funny
dogs
thing
in
is,
front of him.
Evelyn Sanguinetti is even shorter than me.
Is she
Yeah,
really?
she is. Yeah, she's really
I don't know if
strong.
I've ever seen them stand
She's
next
like
to each
4.
other.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's Mutt and
She's like
Jeff.
4.
It really is funny.
I'll
Yeah.
Google it.
She's tiny. Yeah.
Carry firearms training classes with top firearms and trainers will make DS Arms your team. DS Arms, much more than a gun store. Now, they're simple to reach in Lake Barrington, just off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call now, 847-277-7260, or check them out online at dsarms.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
This segment is brought to you by the Will County Grassroots Division of the Illinois State Rifle Association. Join like-minded friends supporting the right to keep and bear arms in Illinois at 7 p.m. on the third Wednesday of the month at the Silver Dollar Restaurant in Elwood, Illinois.
We really liked what Sheriff Clark from Milwaukee said about the whole situation that happened on Thursday night in Dallas and everything that's been going on. They asked him to comment about what Jesse Jackson said, and he said that Jesse Jackson is a blowhard trying to stay relevant after his time has passed, and that Mrs. Bill Clinton, who threw up the hashtag Black Lives Matter yesterday and exploited the situation, and then President Obama, it's kind of interesting, he said the facts aren't in because he's usually popping off at the mouth before he's been briefed or before he knows any of the facts.
Got that pretty well summed up, doesn't he? For people who don't remember him, this is the black sheriff in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
This is an elected official. That's,
and you gotta love a black man who wears a cowboy hat.
Exactly. In Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee, yeah.
Cool guy. Right in the same category as Joe Arpaio, right?
Yes,
It's just
yeah.
guys you got to look up to.
Just full out.
Indeed. Looking up to people or looking down, Jeff in Berlin has something that he wants to.
Dave and Gretchen.
You got a bone to pick with Ed.
Yeah. In your opening rant, you made this reference to this 300 million.
Yeah, roughly.
I have to respectfully dispute that.
That's come from National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm disputing what they say. I've heard that number for like at least 10 years, maybe 15.
Oh, yeah, I see where you're going.
And so I went to the FBI.gov website and actually looked up the number of background checks, and they have a one-page PDF. And from November of 1998 through June of 2016, there's been almost 240 million background checks. Now, they do put a disclaimer at the bottom. These statistics represent the number of firearm background checks initiated through the NICS.
Right.
They do not represent the number of firearms sold. Based on varying state laws and purchase scenarios, a one-to-one correlation cannot be made between a firearm background check and a firearm sale. Fair enough. But how many people go to get a background check if they aren't going to buy a gun?
Yeah.
I'm saying at least if only half of those are done, I'm talking well over 400 million, close to 500 million. Because just from the year 2007 through June of 16, there's been 175 million background checks.
Yeah. Appreciate the call, and you're right, Jeff. The number is probably higher. The number 300 million is older. It comes from National Shooting Sports Foundation. It's the number of guns manufactured and put out to dealers. So it's hardware that actually has hit the street. We got George from the South Loop who has a comment about the media that is kind of interesting, and I certainly couldn't disagree with it. What do you?
The media, hi guys. The media, they fan the flames and of these instances, and they don't tell the truth. People can't make a decision based on the truth. I mean, people in law enforcement, you guys, judges, prosecutors, parole law, but they all know the truth about these circumstances. And, another thing, it's become a cottage industry for your kid to get killed by the police, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're a millionaire. The kid wasn't worth $5 million when he was alive.
Well, and that's
and then you end
true.
up with $5 million for the kid's death. And it's, I'm not trying to make it light. But, it's a bad thing. You lose your kid. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But the kid wasn't the best one in the lot to begin with.
Yeah, and you know what, George, that's exactly in the rant. I said that. If you look at the rap sheets on these guys, we're not talking about like your local dentist who got shot by a cop.
Exactly.
We're talking about a guy that's got a rap sheet. And
this guy in Texas, I mean, he had issues. He's serving our country in Afghanistan. God bless him. And then he can't behaved.
Yeah.
He still behaved.
Nope.
And then he gets a sexual harassment. Must have been a bad one, because usually you get counseling on the first one.
Yeah, you're right.
And, he's just a bad actor, and then he wants to take out his frustration on police. And these guys are, that one kid, Zamoroto, or whatever, he's got two kids. He lost his leg. He served in Iraq also.
Yeah.
Isn't that a push? Why doesn't the president come out and talk about, we used to have Irish and Polish and German and Swedish and Norwegian, and everybody was trying to work, and now you got people that are slugs.
Okay, I appreciate the call, George, and we agree with you. I think that's is a well-founded statement. One thing I want to talk about before the segment is over is this professor.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now this guy's an adjunct professor. For those of you who don't know that, I was a professor for years.
That means he's part-time.
Yeah, adjunct means he can't get a real job. Okay, this is somebody who comes in and teaches a class once in a while.
He teaches like 1 or 2 classes a semester.
But what this guy wrote on was Facebook, wasn't it, I recall?
Yes.
I think it was that.
Yes.
He says, listen to this. He's at Southern State Community College, adjunct at a small community college in Ohio.
College, right.
He says, look, there's one solution. A bunch of us anti-gun types are going to have to arm ourselves, storm the NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia, and make sure there are no survivors. This action might also require coordinated hits at remote sites like Washington lobbyists. Then and only then will we see some legislative action on assault weapons. Have a nice day. We're going to talk about that for a minute when we come back with more On Target Radio. These are the people who talk about we're bloodthirsty. We're going to be back with that and more after these messages. You're listening to On Target Radio, and this is AM560, The Answer.
It was a mouthful to get it all in.
Well, and that guy goes,
Yeah, I thought he was never. Well, he never did stop. I was going to say I thought he was never going to stop.
He didn't stop. George stopped it.
Yeah.
George stopped yours.
I just want to hit when we come back on that issue that you never see a bunch of conservatives arrested for rioting and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Even when a trial goes against them,
you have to make it sound like it was their idea. What's really fun is you can leave it in the queue. Like I do that with John from Creed all the time. You leave it in the queue, so you bring him down, and then he keeps responding to things they say, but he doesn't know he's not in the air anymore.
Because I never got
Absolutely. The thing is, okay, go ahead.
No, you can talk. So I just want to bring that point up about the violence.
It's great fun. At some point, he's going to get the internet. He's going to put me on his list.
Exactly.
In lipstick.
It's about Dallas.
Like in Billy Madison.
Tangentially associated.
No, he goes there.
Boy, I'm glad I caught that guy.
He goes, oh, and by chance, the whole thing was suddenly overshadowed by
Steve Buscemi, that's what it was.
So, like,
sorry.
So what are the three mind-boggling
He's
facts?
implying that obviously Dallas was orchestrated.
A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people.
Can we turn that down? Because I can't hear myself think. So I figured out
last week. Can we turn, George? Can I just turn that down? Too loud.
Yeah, the volume.
Dude, that's the headphones.
Oh.
One underneath. No, it's the cue.
There we go. Okay.
See, there's this word that's written there. It's monitor.
Yeah, I'm not paying attention. I'm busy.
This is from the guy who owned a 60 what Fender
So
Strat?
what are the three things?
Okay,
Les Paul,
what? He says one is the meeting on the plane in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
2 is
Yeah, I streamed it last time.
Comey's press conference.
I went out in the truck,
Oh,
and I was like,
where
well, wait a minute, and I just pulled it up on YouTube, and I knew I was like 20 seconds late.
That's right.
Even though he went on and
That's what we're talking
all
about
the
right
things
there.
that she lied about.
Wake up.
Fatty your thumb. And then 3 is then he had to appear before Congress, where of course he knows he's going to get grilled, and then he can go into even more detail about all the ways she broke the law.
Okay, that is worth talking about. Let me just hit this real quick.
That's fine.
You still got 40 seconds.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, this is my favorite part of this article. Grounds for termination.
Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
You know why we're the best dealers in town, Marty?
You're snazzy. Look, it's some, and I don't mean to demean it, but it's a junior college, and he's an adjunct professor.
Right.
Come on. This is a guy.
Marty, what have you got on you?
I got this pen.
You can have Marty's pen.
But I like this pen.
Don't worry, we've got great deals.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 800-984-9000 or visit alanmarty.com.
This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
Well, just one last comment about this nutball James Pierce, who's an adjunct professor at a community college. And not that I have anything against community colleges, but I do against this clown. Isn't it interesting that liberals are always talking about how we're hate mongers and all that kind of stuff? But when you look at it, when is the last time a bunch of conservatives rioted, stole TV sets, and protested anything?
Right.
Okay? Basically, we're usually out working and don't have the time to do it. And this is exactly that kind of rhetoric. Oh, you people are you're bloodthirsty. This guy is saying kill everybody in NRA headquarters.
This is a threat.
Right.
This is a direct, specific threat.
That's right. Look at Father Flager, whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
Okay? What does he say about our friend, John? I would drag him out of the gun store and kill him in the street. This is a priest.
Right.
A liberal priest. Liberals are the ones with the pent-up hostility.
Right. The person who's saying that the guns and the gun sellers are the problem is fomenting violence and promoting violence.
Yeah, and they don't get the irony of that.
No.
They do not get the irony.
No. It's like I always say, I should have T-shirts made. They're lousy with double standards.
It's astoundingly so.
Yeah. My friend Don on Facebook, he says, your rant of the week was right on target, 100% bravo. I wish politicians had the same thoughts and fire.
See, I like him. I don't know who he is.
Well, this politician does, so.
Okay, yeah.
There you go, Don. He's one of our Edward Jones customers.
Ah, okay. Hi. You had some comment, though, about the Hildebeest and Dallas.
Yes, we had this article. It was written by a man named John Rappaport on InfoWars, and he just pointed out the fact that it's so ironic that Director Comey of the FBI recommended no prosecution for Hillary, and it was because he said there was no intent. There was no intent to do harm, and he says Comey knows that intent is not the legal issue. The Federal Penal Code, Title 18, Section 793, makes that clear. Gross negligence is sufficient for prosecution, conviction, and a sentence of up to 10 years in prison. And then he goes on to say that shortly thereafter, the next day or two, he had to go before Congress, and he knew he would be raked over the coals, and in the process, he would reveal even more clearly how Hillary had violated the law. In my opinion, and I saw this on Facebook as well, I think Comey wanted to recommend prosecution. Loretta Lynch said, no, we can't do that, probably because Obama said, no, you can't do that.
Or maybe Bill Clinton in that chance meeting in Phoenix Airport.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, whoever basically issued the edict, that's what it seems like happened. And Comey wants everybody to know what they actually found, even though he's not allowed to do anything about it. He wants everyone to know, and I think he's doing a great job. I think, you know, people are hating on him, but I'm saying bravo, Comey.
Listen on Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Here's the interesting thing: when you're interviewed by the FBI, and I have been, but when you're interviewed by the FBI, you're not like under oath. They're just questioning you.
Sure.
So
it's a police investigation.
She made statements. Now, here's the interesting thing about Comey. You know, I don't know that any FBI director has ever done what he did. If they have, I'm not aware of it. So what he did is give all the things she did wrong and then say, but there was no intent, so we have to prosecute. Now, what has happened is, that's exactly what he's done. He's put him on notice. The House could go after her for lying under oath.
Sure.
They could actually prosecute her
right,
for lying
when
under
they
oath.
questioned her.
Exactly. Yeah. She was under oath, and she said, no, I didn't know it. But in the other, she did. I did.
Well, and they proved it.
That's right. So initially, when I saw what he said, I'm going, oh, come on. And then the wheels started turning, going, wait a minute.
Right.
This is actually pretty smart.
And the other thing I saw that it was some pundit said on Facebook was that we can expect him to resign shortly.
there's stink on a lot of people.
They're throwing him under the bus.
Yeah, there's stink on a lot of people, and he's catching a lot of it.
And I can't remember, there was something like about 9 months ago that he did that was very anti-administration.
Yes.
And we said that, you know, he was really flaunting them and
He told
really...
Obama, I forget what he told Obama. He
Well, I think
literally contradicted the president.
Right, I think he was talking about gun control, and he was saying he thinks more people should be armed so that we can protect ourselves. Yeah. And obviously in direct opposition to what, you know, the administration wants to put out as the line. And so, you know, we've been saying for a while that he clearly doesn't care about his job.
No. Well, and it may very well be that, you know, there was that meme put up on Facebook. He goes, I know she was guilty, but I don't want to be killed.
I don't want to disappear mysteriously. Yes.
Which all you have to do is read a list of the Clintons' friends who have shed this earthly coil.
Mysteriously.
It's long. I mean, it's a long list of people who died
I've gotten some
mysterious
emails about it.
conditions.
It's 47. There's 47
Is that what it
people
is
on
now?
the list. Yeah.
And they're all under these sort of mysterious, a woman who's packing to go on vacation commits suicide while she's packing her bag.
Right. Some guy like ends up beheaded.
So,
mysteriously.
Yeah.
That's clearly not suicide.
Clintons are truly a piece of work. They're truly a piece of work. I don't know. We're coming close to the end of the segment, and we're going to come back. We don't know how this is still going to play out. I mean, it's difficult to actually know how this plays. Now, the real conspiracy theorists are going, Obama's going to suspend the elections because of civil unrest. Did you see this Congress? Even the Democrats, do you really see them approving, what's the word I want?
Martial law. Do they have to?
Well, I mean, technically, he can declare martial law. But do you see that the Senate and the House? I don't see that.
No.
Yeah, that's way
and
over the top.
You know, I think we're close, but I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, I think it's way too far over the top for even normal Democrats, not the ultra liberals. Anyway, we'll be back with more on Target Radio, and we'll kind of wrap the whole thing up after these few words. And you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
If you're looking for a better shooting experience,
This is a good show.
Not too bad.
Good show. I like this. Is good. I like this shit. No,
I'm getting like tons of messages.
Yeah, I like this shit.
Yeah, a lot of people are watching. A lot of people are listening because a lot of people are commenting on Facebook.
Indeed.
Must be too hot outside. Everybody stayed in.
Now it's hot in here, baby. We're hot. We're hot.
He's awful confident over here.
Well, let's not get carried away, but you know.
It's no, actually, it wasn't too hot outside. Tomorrow, I think, it's gonna be the hot day.
Oh, tomorrow's
Low
gonna be
90s.
awful.
Is it really?
Low 90s with humidity.
Yeah.
Hey!
I think the heat index they're saying like 95.
Yeah.
We're doing segment 6.
Got it.
So you got that? Well, I will ask you that.
Yep.
And I think we don't really need to beat this into the ground. Did you read this?
No, I didn't have a chance.
You know what? I didn't either. Do we want to do segment 6? We did actually say at the beginning of the show.
I'm sure we can. Like you said before, it doesn't have to be long.
Well, and we always take a few minutes in between. The part with the pastor talking is big print. We can read it. Oh,
Yeah. Well, this is just one.
We're resetting. So, all right, we'll do it. We'll do it. You see, this is how we run the show. We have no idea what we're doing. As Gretchen has pointed out on many occasions, we pulled another one out of our ass. That's basically how we run the show.
That's what we do.
15 seconds.
15 seconds.
There's what's prepared, and then there's what actually
Exactly.
happens. Yeah.
How long you got?
Probably 2.5
Tourism and protect nature. See why the forest preserves are a real turn on. Visit fpdcc.com. This message is sponsored by the Forest Preserves of Cook County.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with On Target Radio. Been a very interesting show. This has been a lot of calls. Phones lit up the whole time. Some people didn't get on the show. It's tough luck, you know. We're an in-demand, high-pressure show.
Too bad. So sad. It's only 1 hour.
That's what it is. But if you cheapskates would pony up a little money, we could have
fork over the cash.
Maybe even a 1 hour show.
The hour before us and the hour after us are available.
That's right.
Fork it over.
What would we do with the 3-hour show? We pull this one out of our you-know-what every time.
Well, we'd have to quit our day jobs.
Yeah, right. Quit our day jobs. What am I going to tell you?
Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
I am available this August for your Girls' Night In get-together. Contact us now to reserve your date. I will come to your house and talk to you and your friends about firearm selection, demonstrate many holsters, talk about concealed carry, and give you plenty of time to try them on for yourself. Call, email, or Facebook us for more information or to book a party. Is your teen an experienced shooter with a desire to learn more? Sign him or her up for Safer USA's 3-gun competition youth camp, Saturday, August 6th at the ISRA range in Bonfield. This unique one-day shooting sports camp is an opportunity for teens aged 17 to 19 to learn America's fastest-growing shooting sport. Each group will have an adult chaperone with them at all times as they rotate through 3 90-minute training sessions covering the AR-15, Glock 9mm pistol, and 20-gauge shotgun. A practice 3-gun competition will follow the training sessions. To sign your child up for the 3-gun competition youth camp, go to saferusanfp.org. I also put the link on Facebook earlier today. The following Safer USA classes are at our facility in Waterman, Saturday and Sunday, July 16th and 17th, and July 23rd and 24th. Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. Saturday, July 23rd, Long Range Rifle, taught by Ed Janka. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on Register.
So, I just want to kind of end this whole thing about this violence thing. Liberals have sold minority groups, splinter's a bad choice of words, but minority groups that we're raving psychotics, and we're doing everything we can to hold them back, and we're the violent ones. And they're doing it by using the very tactic they claim that we do, which, name a single time that a group of conservatives have rioted anywhere. It doesn't happen. And look at any ethnic group. How many times have you seen Chinese riot somewhere in this country? Okay? Irish. Well, of course, sometimes they don't know what they're doing. But, you look at any ethnic group, Italians, anybody, Catholics, Protestants.
Right, and like when we have a tea party, usually the place is cleaner after we leave.
You know what at the Idol every year?
Yes.
The guards there have always made the comment, you people go home and this place is like immaculate.
Right.
But the liberals go down there.
We're always orderly. We always follow the rules. We always do what we're told.
Liberals go down there and they tear the place up. They junk it. They trash it. The funniest one was one of those guards told me they had a group of liberal environmentalists. And when they went home, it looked like a cesspool.
Looked like a garbage dump.
We're doing segment 6 real quick.
We are doing segment 6. We'll keep the discussion going, so make sure to go over to our YouTube channel after the show.
Okay. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen on Target Radio. And be sure to listen next week when we cover more red meat issues that affect your life.
We'd also like to thank George Hoffman on the board, Jim Ekstrand, our video producer, and our sponsors, the Will County Grassroots Division of the ISRA, Shrink, Smoke, and Gun, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, and Safer USA.
You do want to make sure you stick around for segment 6. Tune it in because we're going to talk about a pastor who's saying his local government wants to prevent him from preaching in his own church. That's over the top. We'll be back next week. And again, as always, thank you, Michael, for making it all happen.